Well, Jordan, thank you for coming down to the media centre today. Is this your second trip to Australia?
First.
The first
ever.
trip?
That's right.
My goodness, I read in your bio that you're quite a historian of the game and you like to see different golf courses. Is that what you kind of plan to do, to travel and incorporate golf?
Yeah, definitely. This year, put an emphasis on making trips overseas and taking advantage of playing golf in places I've never played before and seeing golf fans I've never seen before. And I went to China last year, and then again this year. But I just came from Japan, which was a great experience. I really enjoyed my time there, but I've been really looking forward to this trip. My instructor is from Melbourne and has obviously always talked about Australia and Australian golf, and so it's really cool to have him here and to be here at the Australian in Sydney.
Have you seen anything of the golf so far?
No, we were a little delayed getting in, so I didn't get in till last night, but just driving through, I hit some putts. It seems like it's going to be battling the winds this week and definitely very tricky on the greens, which is about what I've heard for everywhere in Australia. So I'm excited for it. It'll remind me of home in Texas.
Can you tell us something about your year?
Yeah, it's a winless year, so that stings a little bit. I feel like I've put myself in a lot of great positions, accomplished a lot of goals. I think it was actually an improvement on 2013, and ideally each year you get a little bit better. The reason I say that this year is because in the bigger tournaments I played better golf, had an opportunity to win a major at the Masters, and then had the experience of the Ryder Cup. And I think there's little that prepares you for the Ryder Cup, and a lot you can take from it. So it's been an incredible year, and one that it's really nice to cap off here. And I've got this event and then Tigers next week to finish 2014 and try and put an exclamation point on.
Great. Questions, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Jordan, you mentioned those two big events that you played well in, the Masters and the Ryder Cup. When you put yourself in that position where you particularly at the Masters where you had a chance to win, how did you respond, do you think? How did your head respond when you put yourself in that position?
Yeah, I went looking back, I take all positives from it. That was something that was very different from being in contention at a PGA Tour event. And the feeling was certainly different. You don't sleep very well at night when you sleep on the lead at Augusta going into Sunday. And but I mean, I was so excited. I felt like I handled myself well. I felt like my game. I produced the shots I wanted to hit. I hit great putts, and I was in the lead by 2 going to number 8, and then a couple unfortunate breaks through the back 9, and then I just didn't quite get a putt to go, but they were good putts, and I really struck the ball well. So I took a ton of positives out of that week going forward, because a great champion like Rory McIlroy, I can look at what he did when he was in his first position to win the Masters, and he obviously rebounded pretty well since then. So that's a guy I can learn from on a close call at a major, and then the next time being in the position, not only closing it out, but closing it out in historic fashion. So, I look back there, and then the Ryder Cup, played some great golf with pressure that was even higher than Augusta, and I didn't think that'd be possible, and it was. So that's what we play for. That's what we live for. That's what we dream about is playing under those circumstances, and feeling the adrenaline, feeling the rush, and seeing how you perform. And I was very excited about that, and look forward to being in that position again. And last week I was in contention and felt that adrenaline, and I hope to do so here as well with a few major champions in the field.
Rod,
you mentioned Australian coach. I think it's Cameron McCormack.
Cameron McCormack, yeah.
Just tell us a bit how you hooked up with him. I think you've been with him for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then secondly, on Australian golf, I'm sure you've heard a lot about Melbourne. Have you heard much about Sydney golf, or this course in particular, which is a Jack Nicklaus design, and what are you expecting this week course-wise?
So Cameron, I got hooked up with him through a mutual friend. He was working at Brook Hollow Golf Club, where he works now in Dallas. 8 years ago, I hooked up with him. He had come over from Australia, played college golf in the States, and kind of went a little back and forth. And then he had been in America for a while. It's been a great relationship since day one. And now it's great. We have an unbelievable time. I learn a lot. He's extremely talented, and I have 100% full and complete trust in him. And as far as he hasn't played I don't think he's played a ton of golf in Sydney, but he's talked about Melbourne and the Sand Belt and those kind of courses. And I know the history here. I know Jack redid it or made changes to it. So in the 70s. But I did my homework leading up to it, because I am kind of a golf historian, and going way back here, and it's a really cool location to be this close to the city with such a great golf course. And so I don't know really what it's going to bring to the table yet. I'm excited to get out there this afternoon and test it out, but it's going to be, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be about flighting the golf ball, battling the winds, and then everything comes down to putting, but especially here.
Jordan, I know you had a lot of admiration growing up watching Adam play.
Yeah.
What are you sort of expecting in the first 2 rounds, playing alongside sort of the local hero on Thursday and Friday?
Is that, I guess that's my pairing. Okay. Okay. Played a good amount of golf with Adam now, and always idolized his game and the way he conducts himself. I was always a fan of him, not strictly for golf, but also off the course. And I'm very interested and excited to see it this week, especially with on his home soil, with the crowds here. I can only imagine. And I watched this tournament last year, and what an event that hopefully we can all try and make it just as exciting this year. But Adam started off a little slower last week and came back, so he's on good form right now, and obviously expect him to play extremely well this week, as well as Rory and a lot of other players that are trending upwards. So he's a guy that when I'm paired with him, I'm excited because I did grow up idolizing him and his game, and so it'll be a really fun time here in Australia.
Golf's like most sports. We're always on the lookout. The public are always on the lookout for the next big thing. After your amateur success in your rookie season, it's sort of, you were given that tag at home and around the world, I suppose. Are you comfortable with the pressure and expectation that came with that?
Sure. I don't really pay much attention to that tag. What I do is I look at, who are the best players in the world right now. What have they done? Where have they set the bar? And how can I achieve it? And that's, you got to keep your head down and keep on moving forward. You can't be satisfied. I can't be satisfied with where I am right now. Like I said, a little disappointment not having a victory this year, and could have played well and done some better things throughout the year. But it was a good year. But to see what Rory's done, where he set the bar for the young generation, with 4 majors already and double-digit worldwide victories, he's the one that has set the bar for us and for those in the next generation, the up-and-comers, not just around the world really. And so he's the guy that we're chasing, and he's the one. In order to beat him, we're going to have to work harder than him, and that's difficult because he works extremely hard. So, that's the goal. That's the idea.
Is the bar at a new level with, after guys like Rory and Tiger, the perception that you don't have to sort of spend 5 years earning your stripes and then win big tournaments? Do you come in straight away and think, I want to win big tournaments?
Well, I think that we all believe and have the confidence that we can right away. It's not easy to win a professional event, especially. It's obviously, I don't know what it's like to win a major, but I know it's extremely difficult to win a PGA Tour event. So it puts in perspective what they've done. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's really hard to look at the big picture and look at it as, you know, this is hopefully a 30-year career, or 20-year career, 25-year career, where you have plenty of tournaments to accomplish that. The easiest way, I think, for me to do it is to, you know, tell myself that you've got to win this week, and you've got to prepare to win this week. Because the more you sit back and relax, the more other people pass you.
Jordan, we think it's fantastic that you've come to Australia and Asia and you're playing around the world, yourself in the new breed, Rory, etc. Do you think it's part of your, not responsibility, but to play golf globally, and do you intend to keep doing that as the years go by?
I certainly intend to keep doing it. I've had a lot of fun traveling. The flights have gotten easier and easier each one you take, and I think this week may be the most fun I've had. It's already kind of started that way, and I didn't say that everywhere. I promise you that. That's when we landed here, I landed with a smile on my face, and it hasn't left. But yeah, I intend to do that. I don't think it's an obligation that we have, but I think it's where the game's moving, and I think that, you know, we all have our own brands, and we like to and our own, you know, goals, and with the way the game of golf is moving, that's going to become, you know, more and more global year to year. And I mean, who knows in 10 years what our schedules will look like, and hopefully that consists of more and more golf overseas, because I have a great time doing that.
What do you know about the Australian Open? What would it mean for you to put your name against the famous names that are on it? I know you're an historian.
Yeah, well, it'd be incredible. It'd be a tremendous honor. I know that I'll have quite a few years to accomplish that here. I know that this is an event that I'm going to want to come back to and keep coming back to. But yeah, I mean, from greats back, I mean, it stretches back so long ago that I couldn't even tell you. What year is this of the Australian Open? Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, there's very few tournaments that are that successful to be able to get stronger year in and year out, and to go for over 100 years. And I mean, you could probably count on two hands in the world tournaments that are like that. So to have your name on one of those trophies would be you know, a very historic moment for us, and one that we wouldn't forget.
Lucy?
Jordan, how confident are you feeling heading into the Australian Open on the back of your performance in Japan?
Yeah, very confident. As confident as I've been in quite a while. Last week was a great week. I struck the ball well. I'm very happy with the way I'm hitting it. You know, my putting will come around this week, and you know, anytime you compete, you compete and contend the week before with a good field, and if you feel like you perform well under pressure, then that next week you have a different comfort level when you arrive, and that's kind of how I feel this week. And so, you know, I've obviously got a great pairing. It's going to be a cool atmosphere as well. So I'm extremely confident. You know, I expect to go out there and play well this week.
Mike?
Jordan, looking a bit further ahead, you're one of the players in the field that's already qualified for the Open Championship next year, the British Open. Can you tell us briefly just how much it'll mean as a golf historian to play at St Andrews? Yeah.
I've been fortunate to play there. Played there when we were making the trip over for the Walker Cup. Patrick Rogers, who's playing this week, was my partner actually in foursomes as well that week. But we played out at St Andrews, and it's funny because we're actually already looking at booking travel and rooms there already, just because it's going to be that kind of week. That's when people ask what's the greatest course you've ever played, or the greatest experience. I think they're different questions. I think the greatest experience was walking through the clubhouse at the old course and seeing people that were playing on the same place that you just played before the United States was even founded. And that kind of just puts it in perspective. Like, that's incredible. That these, royalty was on this course prior to us even being a country. And then you walk the same grounds, and the course it just really hasn't changed. And that you can't even really put into words a place like that doesn't need to change over that amount of time to still be able to host a major championship. It says a lot about the Scottish weather. But it's going to be really fun. I mean, I know going in that with good weather, you have to shoot 64 to keep pace now. Judging by when Louis won, I know their scores were really low for 3 of the 4 days, I think. And then, par could be a good score another day. So it's going to be a very interesting week.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everybody finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. I hope we see you every day this week.
Thanks a lot. Me too.